Well, we have some great news today. Some great news about the Mates and Dates program, which has been indoctrinating harmful and confusing gender fluidity and sexuality ideology into our schools for far too long. But we took the blowtorch to it, and there's been some great developments. Let's check it out. So the Mates and Dates program in schools is an ACC program for children 13 years up. It's been going since 2014. It's always been sold as a program around healthy relationships, the harms of drug and alcohol, consent, keeping safe together. But what we've found is that it is linked closely to the Ministry of Education's sexuality education curriculum, with a big push on issues such as identity, gender and sexuality. But ACC and the Ministry of Education have always raved about how good the program is and how well researched and safe it is and how it's what students want.
Mates and Dates has been well researched and evaluated, so we know that it's both safe and also has really positive impacts for young people. It's also what young people told us that they wanted. So if we can support them to have healthy relationships at school and at home, we also know that they'll do better academically.
Based on the results, Māori and Pacifica students across all the range of ethnicities indicated they were more likely to change their behaviour and their attitudes as a result of receipt of the program.
Oh, there we go. It's supposed to be fantastically successful. And in 2017, the program was expanding. They were putting an extra 18 million in it for the next 2 years. That was announced in 2019, allowing the program to be extended nationally. So heaps of money. And according to the Mates and Dates project manager at ACC, quote, "The program is about helping young people think about and experience safe, healthy and respectful relationships. Our schools, with the support of families and communities, offer the best opportunity as a point of influence and prevention." End quote. Well, as you know, we've been investigating Mates and Dates, including the use of the flawed and misleading genderbread person. Yep. Check out all those labels they're indoctrinating your children with: genderqueer, androgynous, bisexual. See down the bottom there, it's breaking through the binary. And we raised concerns with our Family Matters episode in April called Expose the Radical Sexuality and Gender Indoctrination in Schools. And this is targeted as young as 7 years old. And then we followed up with our fact sheet on the overall curriculum, not just of Mates and Dates, but also the other sexuality education propaganda being targeted at children as young as 7. We released this in August. And most recently, you've had the chance to hear firstly from a mum of a daughter concerned by the curriculum. And then there was a facilitator who lasted one term because she said that the program is deeply flawed. In fact, her husband bailed straight after the training because he realised how bad the program was. And then the 14-year-old's experience of having to sit through the class. Well, here's the good news. Mates and Dates is being dumped. According to this announcement on the ACC website dated 22nd of November, the Mates and Dates program has elevated awareness of the importance of sexual violence prevention. However, the reach of Mates and Dates was narrower than predicted, with 160,000 students engaged in Mates and Dates program over 7 years of delivery. Yep, in other words, many schools didn't want a bar of it, and rightly so. In fact, the ACC actually admit that the program mainly went to high decile schools. Now, remember, the program is fully funded, so low decile schools aren't being financially penalised. It's just that they didn't want it. They knew it was a flawed program. Continues on, furthermore, since the inception of Mates and Dates, our understanding of what works best in the prevention of sexual violence space has changed. There is very little evidence that standalone consent education programs reduce sexual violence. A much broader prevention approach about respectful relationships that factor in power dynamics and other factors is required. Which is kind of weird because up until just yesterday, this was the best program since sliced bread. Researched, effective, demanded by students themselves. Except it wasn't. And then it goes on, ACC and the Ministry of Education, MOE, agree that healthy relationship education needs to be provided for all young people to achieve the necessary shift in behaviour to prevent sexual violence, which means that relationship and sexuality education is best based within all schools, delivered by teachers with external supports as needed. This is supported by the MOE's, Ministry of Education's refreshed Relationships and Sexuality Education guidance. Now, when we dug a little deeper, we found this media release on the ACC site from September, which says our Mates and Dates program will conclude in December, that's this month, yay, as we extend our investment into consent and healthy relationships in a multifaceted nationwide approach. In fact, the government had indicated before that they didn't actually have confidence in the ACC course. Now, before we celebrate too much, ACC is simply giving a hospital pass to parents. I mean, schools don't want it. The ACC have almost admitted that. It hasn't been as successful as they hoped. But they're basically saying now the Ministry of Education has got this covered. But the government is pushing their deeply flawed and harmful version of sexuality and relationships education as the overarching curriculum. And this version, pushed by the Ministry of Education, aided by radical groups such as Family Planning and Rainbow Youth, is radical, extreme, and dangerous. And if you haven't figured that out yet, you need to watch our Family Matters presentation, Exposed, the Radical Sexuality and Gender Indoctrination in Schools. I'll put the link in the description of this video on YouTube, but you can go to our website, familyfirst.nz, type in the word exposed in our search bar, and there it is. The Family Matters episode will come up and you can watch it. You need to watch it. Go to familyfirst.nz. So we are not out of the woods yet, not by a long shot, but one harmful program, the Mates and Dates program, has been dumped. And that's a great thing. Now we need to put the blowtorch on the rest of the government curriculum in this area. It is worth speaking up for the sake of our children, for their moral innocence, their moral protection. Don't let the government raise your children in this area. Don't let them pollute your child's mind. If we don't protect our young people, who will? You know, we'll keep discussing this issue and we'll keep giving you the resources to speak up and push back.